Welcome back to Miles Off It. Today, I'm excited to talk about my second favorite team and yours. Not yours, but the viewers. Yours. Arsenal. We love the Gooners. Big Gooner gang.
The Gooners.
Hey, Wood, let me hold that beat.
Michael,
Yeah.
Arsenal finished 5th in the Premier League on 69 points. Nice. Home record, 13-2-4, 41 points, a plus 18 goal differential. The Emirates was a fortress last year. Away record, 9-1-9. Could have used a few more draws. 28 points, -5 goal differential away. They are now on their next season with Arteta. He looks like he's settling in. What strengths can we compound onto that and chat through about our North London Gooner gang?
All right, well, I remember when everyone was Arteta out, Arteta out, Arteta out.
I want him out. I wanted him out. I want him out. You fucking fraud. You're a fraud. You are a fraud. You're a fucking fraud, mate. You're fucking useless. Fucking bottle job. Fucking dickhead. Fuck this manager. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Fucking Brentford. I don't give a shit. How many more excuses? Oh, he don't have this player. Oh, Aubameyang's injured. Look at you. You fucking fraud. You're ruining my club. Fucking embarrassing.
They have a clear philosophy now with him, though. They have the right players for that philosophy. They're youthful and they're talented youth. It's not just, guys in there that have upside. They have talent right now. I think they're hungry. A year wiser is always good. They got the same guys. They missed out last year on top 4. I think they're going to want to get it worse than ever this year. They've had a really good preseason, John. I don't know if that matters, but they look crazy good.
Smack the shit out of these guys.
I don't know who.
That's Sevilla. Smack the shit out of Sevilla.
I can't see. Yeah, they killed them. They have a great preseason. They finally have a proper number 9. I think, personally, Gabby Jesus will have a big year. And then their defense kind of came together a little bit last year. And they got Saliba back. He looks really fucking good. So now you have this 3-headed monster, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White as your center back. So Ben White can also play right back. That's where he's been playing since Tomiyasu's been out. I think they look really, really strong. And I think they looked strong at the end of last year. They had a rough start to the year. And then this year they've only gotten better. So I think their trajectory is up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this team. We mentioned Villa. We mentioned West Ham. Teams you're excited to watch that aren't your own team. I'm excited to watch this team. A few things that I do want to mention. One, we joke all the time about Stevie G. He's the eventual Liverpool head coach, obviously. That's the only way that this version of life, this, what do you call
Simulation.
Simulation is going to work out. I mean, I'm just waiting for Arteta to fill in for Guardiola, right? At City?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say, you just mentioned, you think Gabby's going to have a big year. I've been beating this drum for ages. He
hasn't been there for ages, John.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
Because as soon as I say this, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you have. Gabby Jesus, you drop him in Ligue 1, any team, he leads Ligue 1 in goals. He does.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, on any team. On any team.
You put that dude on Metz. M-E-T-Z.
On Troyes.
Troyes. I don't think that's how that's pronounced. I'll have to get my friend Amelie on the pod.
Fucking know.
I think obviously, if I'm being realistic, if he's on Marseille, if he's on Lyon, if he's on Lille, yes, absolutely. Maybe there's a fringe team here and there that he'd be able to do too.
Montpellier.
But they actually just got relegated.
Oh damn.
I agree with you.
Damn.
I think he's actually due for like kind of a breakout year.
Yeah.
And he scored 3 against Sevilla in the preseason. I know it's the preseason, but still pretty impressive. Look, we're heaping on a ton of praise. We're excited to watch this team. They still have some weaknesses. First things first. One of their strengths is one of their weaknesses. They're still young. And I think they ran into this, and we mentioned it a lot last year on the pod. The youth caught up to them a couple times, and now they're a year wiser and a year smarter, like you just mentioned. But they still have some really, really young guys that haven't made a deep run in Europe or haven't played in some of these big games that there's like, oh man, like this is where Arsenal wants to be. Still young. The dips and the peaks and the highs and the lows of the season can't dictate everything for them. Consistency. We mentioned that a ton. They were notorious for like losing 4 in a row or losing 5 in a row. I forget the actual number, and then just winning 7. Like, you got to get rid of that streakiness. You got to turn the L's into draws. We say that all the time. You got to turn the L's into draws. I think one of their other weaknesses, though, is they're good and they're fun. And in any other simulation of the Premier League, they'd probably be challenging for the title. There's just too many. They're not as good as City and Liverpool, and I don't think they're close. But I think it will be an interesting battle with them, Chelsea, and Spurs. And I think that's the group that they're in right now. And if they want to be the king of that group, it's definitely doable. But my opinion is maybe they will get to the top. Your opinion isn't, which we're going to find out in a little bit. And then you wrote this down, and I think it's a great point. Will Arteta be able to checkmate or check down or audible or have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D? He has a way of playing, and people are starting to figure it out, and people are starting to attack it differently, and that's when they go on their streaks. I want to see him be able to adapt, think on his feet, and adjust how the team's playing so that if they play a just abysmal first half, they can come out and just whack someone that they're supposed to whack, a Southampton, a Brentford, any of these newly promoted teams. That's going to really show that he's the real deal. And if he does end up at Manchester City, I'm actually more excited about it. You put it in here. The 3 guys that do that the best in the Prem, Klopp, Pep, and Conte. And those are the guys that you want to get to their level, and you got to start doing that. So those are the weaknesses. Not a lot of holes, but they do have some areas that I do think they need to purchase at. Michael, where should they be buying?
Well, they've already bought Gabby Jesus, as we've said. I think he's going to have a big year. John on the podcast mentioned that Grealish is going to be top 5 this season. I don't think he'll be anywhere close. I think Gabby Jesus might actually be top 5 this season in goals for sure. They got Vieira, center mid. He's going to add some depth there. He's going to a different type of player too. I also want to mention this because it's really something that I think both of us try not to do. We're both very conscious about it. We don't want to. It's just what we see all the time. So like we make comparisons. I hate talking about like my team. Like I don't like, being like, oh, this guy, blah, 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 blah. I think it's just kind of how we like gauge things. And I think if you're any Premier League fan who's been watching the past 4 years, you just know that right now it's Liverpool and City. That's just how it is. Yeah. I think I dream weirdly of a world where like it's like 5 teams going for it. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be so cool. Even though, when we lose a game or win 1-0 or 2-1 to a team we maybe should have beat, I'm literally depressed for a week until we play again. But like, I think in a world where I was like, it's okay to like lose or draw because these other teams are going to beat City or Arsenal or Chelsea. And that's what we were saying, they have to be able to beat one of those 4 teams if they want to get into the top 4. So they have to do better than one of them. And I'm not 100% sure they will. I have a pretty decent feeling about it. But I think what they need to start doing is acting like a big team. They need to start building that depth. They need to start getting different types of players. Zinchenko was a huge signing for them, I think. I actually think he's just going to be the left back. pretty soon here. Like Tierney gets injured a lot. I think Zinchenko is just a better player all around. But I think, like I said, they need to start acting like a big team, getting that depth. I think they still need some depth up top. I think they've done a lot of business. I think realistically, they're probably maybe one more buy in them. Nketiah is your backup right now. I would get some competition for him, maybe some competition for Jesus. But, John, I think let's take a little trip into Fantasyland here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you want to put your hypothetical nuts on the table as Arsenal, and you want to say, we're fucking here, and we mean business, you go get Christopher Nkunku. You get him, he can play the attacking mid, he can play the striker position. He could probably play out wide. I mean, I'd be willing to bet he could play out wide. I think that would be a absolute statement buy for them. He could play across your top four, your front four, whatever. And he's not even just depth, he is incredibly talented depth.
Yeah. I do think that's Fantasyland. That'd be a sick.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, it's so much of a Fantasyland that I put they should sign Ben Sesko as well, who's the other very young, very talented striker for Leipzig. I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and this is just going to be off the dome. The midfield is actually probably the area where they either need depth, or if they get the depth in the attacking positions, that needs to be where they're looking next, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think they probably have one more buy in them. I don't think that buy is big enough to get Nkunku. I don't think that buy is big enough to get any of the CDMs that we've been talking about recently. But I want them to establish themselves as a big club too. And I mentioned this guy on the United episode we did. But I think the Premier League is still considered a better league than Serie A. I think you'd go get a guy like Sandro Tonali and have him play defensive mid and have him be your defensive mid for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
Like I think he's 20, I'm pretty sure. Like, those are the type of buys that, as a fan of Man City, if those come in, I'm like, shit. Like, you know, but also as a fan of just the Premier League, I'm like, all right, cool, this is going to be cool. Like, we're going to...
fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that Tielemans, for Man United, also applies to Arsenal. I think if they brought Tielemans in, it would be... I think Partey's a really good defensive mid, but I think you bring Tielemans in, he could play that Xhaka position. He could play that where they kind of think Zinchenko's going to move into from left back. He could play the DM. He could, facilitate a little bit. I think he's kind of that all-around player. Shit, go get Tielemans and Nkunku, dude. Like, say fuck it and go for top 3.
Do you think, just real quick, being able to obviously play multiple positions is great in every sport, especially, though, in soccer, in football, when you're using a system akin to Pep's, akin to Arteta's. Are they more dynamic, in your opinion, if they would be able to shore up the DM spot and even that box-to-box spot for the center, and then play someone with the ball skills that Zinchenko has on that left wing, and maybe you kind of see Tierney fill in? I like Zinchenko a ton. Like, I actually think Gabby's going to be the glitz and glamour signing, and you're not even going to notice how much of an impact Zinchenko has on some games that you win.
Yeah. I would say if you're going for, to be practical and to be... I think, as I said, I think the Nkunku one is, you're just adding firepower to, you're adding fire to a pot that's already just,
You're
boiling.
throwing gas on the fire.
Yeah, you're just making it so much better, so much hotter, Yeah. I think it's probably better if they strengthen in the midfield, especially the DM position. Zinchenko's not... I don't think he's like a playmaker. He's like a left-back playmaker. Yeah. So, he's not a defensive mid left-back type.
No, he's not. He's not at all. If he's going to play in the mid for them, it would be a box to box, and he's not very big, which is not a good not usually a good attribute. But they're gonna want to keep Odegaard in there or Smith Rowe, and then he could probably come in and be a little bit more defensive, but also have some attack. I'm just thinking personally from watching him for the past 3-4 years, he plays a really dangerous ball in from that wing back position.
Yeah.
That if you can play him at left back and you got your center of your pitch figured out, your midfield, man, I think they're tough. And then
I think
Nkunku and Gabby are both great in the air.
Again, I also think that we're talking about traditional positioning here, and Zinchenko does not have to stay on the left side. He ventures into the midfield all the time. Yeah. I think what they would actually do, especially if I don't know if Ben White's going to be a right back for them, because I think Tomiyasu is still pretty good. But what I think they do in the attack is they almost go to a 3, and Zinchenko just goes into the midfield. They push somebody else up, so they have more guys on the offensive side, and then Zinchenko can play those balls into them.
Very similar to how we used him at City.
Yeah, I think 100% he might be how we were saying a couple episodes ago. This guy might benefit the most and look like the best player statistically, but really it's going to be this guy Zinchenko in the middle who is kind of bringing it all together. And I think it'll be important to look out after that. And if Zinchenko's playing like that, as K Perk says, got to give him his flowers, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, a lot of flowers being given out, but Michael, the ultimate decision is yours. Where are these guys finishing?
I think I have them 3 to 5, and I mean we already kind of went through our predictions, but as we have mentioned, the predictions are amendable up until the end of the transfer window. But right now I have them in 4th. So 3 to 5.
I have them 3rd, and I have regrets, but I also want to stay bullish, and I want to back my guys, my second guys here. And I got them 3rd because I got them finishing higher than Tottenham, obviously. That's going to be a fun battle.
Yeah.
It's and I know we're going to get to the Tottenham pod, and I'm going to save your take for them later, but between them and even Chelsea is going to be fun. Them and Tottenham will be fun. And like I said, dude, the top of the table might still be some decent distance between those 3, but that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th is going to be a cool one.
Also, just to make you mull over it later, because I know we're going to be done after this, Cucurella finished the medical in London for Chelsea. So
yeah, I know. We don't have to talk about that.
So that's another one. That's going to be tough
We don't talk about Cucurella.
We don't talk about him, dude.
Yeah. All right. Like, subscribe, share.
Go Arsenal.
Do all the shit. Up the go Gooners.
Go.
Up the Arsenal. I don't think that's what they say, but
I don't fucking know.
Hey, Wood, let me hold that beat.